Welcome back to another episode of the For the Healthy Health podcast.
Where we talk about conscious living, self awareness, and everything in between.
I'm your host, Ree.
Sunset Tim,
Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to be a part of your journey.
Smoke. How you feeling today?
Honestly, I'm vibrating really high today. I feel really good, well rested, hydrated. I've been drinking a gallon of water for the past 2 days, which that's a big deal because in the past I've drank a lot of water, but I don't know why this year in general I kind of fell off of my water as far as the gallon goes. But
Mm-hmm.
all in all, I feel great, and I really am genuinely so happy
You look
to be
happy.
here. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm floating right now.
What you what you do today?
Nothing. I didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I feel good as well. Water ain't like yours though. It is not. My water game has not been like yours. It's
What's
not been
good
pretty
with
strong.
you?
I don't know. I mean, it's been decent. It just ain't been strong. Like it's been alright. I gotta get it back on track though.
Get it together.
Sleep been I have I ain't gonna say family issues going on, but a lot of things I had to do for family
I feel that.
in
Yeah.
this recent time. So, um, and then like I'm really sensitive, and like everything lays on me a lot longer than it might be other people. So you know, maybe it's easier for other people to let things go, and I like holding grudges too, So
Same. You don't see. I be knowing you better than you know. Well, better than you think I know you. Sometimes
why
I be knowing something is going on with you, but you like how you just. I asked you how you were doing today. Do I ask you how you doing often?
you do?
I be like, how are you? I don't say it like
Yeah.
that, but um, you never tell me that.
Well, sometimes you gotta be emotionally intelligent. Like this ain't necessarily something. I don't want you to be worried about me when you got
Other
high
stuff.
level things going on. You know what I mean? I got enough. I don't know how to say it, but I've had enough healing done to where I can calm myself down in these situations that I don't actually need an outside source to kind of help me feel calm.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's amazing. You got enough self management.
Yeah, enough self management. There you go. That's a better term for it.
Hmm.
Um, so I could take care of myself during these time periods and not be a burden emotionally on somebody else.
You can never be a burden to me.
I I think I could kind of produce a couple things
No,
if I tried.
you want to be.
No. I just wanted to see if it's a challenge or anything like that. Anyways, how y'all doing from the QBs, from the
From the
cubes?
cubes, wherever you are.
What?
But we said last week we always working.
Yeah, we always working. I don't know why I'm very interested in they work fits today. Like
I
what
don't
y'all be wearing,
know.
what y'all do for a living. It
Yeah.
be such a diverse group of people all the time. Like I'd be very interested what y'all do for a living, and then what y'all want to be. There's
What are your goals?
yeah
Like what are your
yeah
aspirations? And I feel like I want to find another way to interact because I know we have social media, but not everybody has social media. But I want to find another way to interact and kind of like get to know them, but
yeah. We
more
definitely we in the stages of doing like live shows too, y'all.
live
So
shows. Yeah,
yeah.
that's in the works.
So when y'all hear this, like DM where y'all at to the Healthy Health page on
Yeah.
Instagram. DM where y'all live at. So we trying to pick a city.
Or I may put a poll or a Q&A on the
Yeah, yeah. And do
podcast
and
notes.
and and I know I'm gonna give y'all a lot of things to do. Fuck it, y'all getting homework today. It's the half of the year point is here. I don't know people. It happened very
Yeah.
quickly. Half of the year point is here.
Mhm.
Let's check in on like our goals. Like just comment. Yes,
Reassess.
reassess. Like comment. How you doing on your goals right now, whatnot.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because like I said that time is coming. It came very quick. If you ask me, like it was fast.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun. Well, yeah, let's just check in on each other and drop
Definitely.
drop a work fit too. I'm so interested in what
I
they do
know,
for a
cause
living right
we've
now.
been well. We are always like we really like fashion. We really
Yeah,
like you and I. When I say we, you and I, me and Tim, we really like thrifting and things like that. So,
hmm
and we just really are pursuing like our outfits as another creative outlet in a
yeah,
sense. So we've been really tapping into that a lot more lately too. So How we gonna find out what they feet look like?
I
What's
don't know. If y'all drop a work fit, just tag healthy. I just want to see what y'all be wearing to work.
yeah?
What
Just
y'all be
tag
on.
us.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. What back to our business at hand. What are we rapping about today?
Today we're talking about our gut feelings, trusting your intuition and your instinct. And I've known for quite a while that, your brain and your gut is interconnected. Tons of research shows that. A lot of experts refer to our gut as our second brain, rightfully so. And sometimes there's a lot of confusion between like actual feelings and emotions versus gut instincts. But we'll get into that more later. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today. As we continue to become more self aware and evolve on this lifelong journey that we're on, trusting our gut and following our intuition is a large part of that journey. So, what is your experience when it comes to trusting your intuition and your gut feelings?
For the better part of my younger life, I went away from gut feelings.
Hmm.
For when I got into my 20s and stuff like that, I went away from my gut feelings. When I was a younger kid, like living in the hood and whatnot, I had to rely on gut feeling a lot of times because like you live in these kind of areas, you don't kind of know when shit's gonna pop off.
Right.
You have to have almost like a sixth sense, but that gut feeling that like, nah, something's cooking up. You can see or feel tension in the air. Like, nah, I'm gonna go lay on back, or I'm gonna go on shake to another area. Because like growing up in these neighborhoods, some simple things like house parties get shot up and
Right.
things and stuff like that like have happened. And you've been there. And that point in my life, like I said, I had to rely on sixth sense because it wasn't like logically you can put it together. When I logically say, "Oh, man, ain't nobody gonna shoot a party up. People in here dancing, like, you know what I mean? Dudes on girls, girls having fun. Like, man, ain't nobody finna." That's what logically, because like that's how I
That's what
feel.
you would think. Everybody's vibing, having
Everybody vibing, good
fun.
time. But your gut feeling telling you, like, you see these dudes over here, and these guys, you see the tension. Trust your gut, and I had to like I said, survive and live a decent life on that side of town. But when I got older in my 20s, I started to try to rely more on my brain. Everybody says think smarter, you know, and things like that. So a lot of my gut feeling got pushed to the side. Even if I felt it, I went with what was the most, well, at the time, the safest route.
Safe
The
is the
safest,
most
the most
logical.
logic, the most safe. I feel like that's what our conscious mind does. Goes to what is familiar and what is safe. And I think I relied on the safe decision making for my 20s. Coming into my later 20s into my 30s is when I got back to that gut feeling. I really have found a nice pairing between the two
Yeah.
of just like knowing like I can't put a finger on it, but I think this is right. This is where I belong. This is what
This
I
is
should
what
be
it
doing.
feels.
Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
feels right. And that's getting back to my gut instinct. You know what I mean? And really finding myself shaping up and making decisions that align with the person that I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm back tapped in with my gut. Me and my gut feeling are back in line.
That's
So,
amazing.
so I want to ask you the exact same question. What has your relationship been with the gut feeling?
Where do I start? So I have IBS, right? And for a long time, I didn't really realize how much relation my gut had to my reaction to my environment
Mm-hmm.
and my anxiety. Like, I didn't really realize how connected that was. So I do want to just say that I think that's really interesting. And I'm still, not still, but like, that's something that I just recently kind of like figured out. Like, oh, that makes sense. Well, I say recently, but like 5 years ago. But That aside, just really thinking about my childhood and, just being in middle school and high school, I think I ignored my gut instinct and my gut feelings all the time.
I agree. I think I ignore mine for sure.
Definitely. Especially when it comes to being around certain people and just, to be honest, I'm not proud of it, but I just wanted to be around the cool kids. Like, if that makes
Yeah, yeah.
sense, when I was
Everybody.
younger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, even if it meant that I was going against something that I knew wasn't right for me. Because I think ultimately your gut feelings, your gut instinct, that's a reflection of your higher self.
Yeah,
I
I agree with that.
Yeah. So even thinking about my decision to go to college, I didn't even want to go to college.
Mm.
I didn't. It was just like that. I just felt like it wasn't for me. But then, like my junior and my senior year of high school, I kind of started to get realistic. My mom always preached about college, and the world in general just talks about, bettering your education, finding a great job, doing things the traditional way, the right way. But in my heart, in my gut, I didn't feel like that was something that was for me. I didn't feel like that was a life that was personally for me. But again, once again, I went against my gut instinct. And I don't have any regrets because I feel like in life, there isn't any mistakes. There's always a lesson when it comes to like whatever you experience. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
we always preach that. But yeah, but fast forwarding to like now, I think also the more you learn about yourself, the more you're able to trust your gut instincts.
Absolutely.
So I think with me becoming more self-aware and becoming the person who I'm ultimately meant to be, I'm able to kind of lean into those gut instincts and really just trust myself way more. And I'm getting better and better with it every single day. I think me and my gut instincts, my intuition, we have a really, I'm saying like we two different people, but I have a really good relationship with trusting my instincts and just being able to tell the difference between, a gut instinct, gut feelings, and an emotion to a particular thing.
Yeah, and I like when you say the gut feeling is closely aligned with who we really are, like our
Right.
souls, because like it's not any added logic in. It's just this feeling of that's right. It's hard to describe it, but
Yeah.
the feeling like this is right.
It's unexplainable often, all the time. Like when you are somewhere or around someone and your gut tell you have this feeling you can't explain it. There's no logic behind it. That's
Mm-mm.
ultimately what your gut instincts is.
There's that gut feeling saying that I should watch what I say around this person, or
Mhm.
I shouldn't let this kind of information out, or I can't be a certain version of me around this person because something is telling me to hold back in a situation. I do believe that my gut decision rating is so much higher now.
Absolutely.
The success rate with my gut decisions are way better now that I know myself more.
Mhm. And thinking back when I talked about having a like nervous stomach or like my emotions always affecting my gut, we're both empaths. That's something you didn't flat out say empath, but you are.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
basically said
to an
it.
extent. You a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
harder than me though, but
Yeah. And when you just talked about being around people and just the weight of people's, I guess, experiences, good and bad, and the weight of the world, good and bad, that often affects like my gut. Like my stomach will literally hurt if I'm sad or if I'm like,
yeah,
if
absolutely.
something bad happened, my gut literally suffers. There's been times I cannot eat because of my
Yeah, feelings. Yeah,
feelings. So I think that's just interesting to know. I'm wondering. I'm curious to know how many other people are, like that.
like that.
Are you like that?
I am somewhat in that fashion like that. When we got to doing this research, what amazed me is how much of our nervous system. I think 90% of our nervous system is located inside our gut.
I ain't know
If I'm not mistaken, when I did the research, somewhere around 90% of it,
that. Uh-huh.
tying our emotions, our nerves into what we eat. It's an amazing thing to look up and to just think about how intertwined
Mm-hmm.
um, our sanity can be with our gut system.
Yeah, literally everything is connected to your gut.
Yeah, it's a wild concept when you get to looking into it. I know it may seem like a lot, but it's a very interesting thing to look into if you have anxiety, um, any type of panic, like disorders, anything of that nature. I think looking into gut health can actually improve your life in crazy ways.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, from what you eat to daily movement, the people you allow in your space and you give your energy to, all of that matters when we talk about like your gut.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add in is to feel everything and take mental or written down notes about it all. I think a lot of time we lack the research on ourselves so much
Mm,
that we don't take notes on how this person made me feel, how this meal made me feel, how working out makes me feel, how not working out makes me feel,
right.
how any activity or any place, person, emotion, thing. Keep a mental diary of how these things feel, and you will start to be able to connect the dots to a better path.
I find it so interesting that you said we don't take note as human beings. We don't take note of how certain things made us feel. I love the idea of like writing it down, actually
Mm-hmm.
writing. That's what a journal is for, actually. That's what
Yeah,
journaling comes
100%. Yeah,
in.
that's where it comes into. Like I say, just keep an account of how things make you feel. Like I said, it can just better shape and then get a reality of things. I think a lot of times we look back in the past, and I don't think I know with myself this has happened, but the further we get away from a situation, the more mixed our emotions about it can be.
Mm,
When you have an actual record of what you actually thought, close to that time, you can reflect on it in a different way.
yeah, because to be honest, your first initial gut reaction, it's always truly how you feel
Yeah, I give that. I
about a
can say,
certain situation.
even if it shocks you.
And even if it shocks you, and it makes me think about when I was in school and I would have these tests, like exams, and it's certain answers I wasn't for sure on, but like my gut instinct, like I picked a certain answer, but then I didn't trust my gut, and I second guessed
Second guessed
myself,
it all the
and I
time.
went with another answer, and I got the answer wrong, and it's so crazy. 90% of the time, the answer that I was going to put at first was the correct
Yeah,
answer.
I think with gut feeling, even when you wrong with gut feeling, you still right. It's like one of them things you watch the 50
50.
Cent. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right because I could have been wrong type thing. Like
Yeah,
the gut kind of works out in that same fashion. Like if you said no to a business move with this person because you thought they was shady, even if it did turn out well for them, like you still can hold your head high that you dodged the bullet you thought was there. You know what I mean? So that's still
exactly.
when you follow the gut, you still is like you can almost never go wrong with the gut feeling,
Mm-mm. Never.
unless like it's like jump off the building, I can fly, cause your gut told you
You could fly.
you could fly. That one would kind of fuck you up.
You can't fly.
Don't trust
I'm
the gut for
sorry.
everything though.
Yeah.
Some shit you need a little logic on.
Yeah, definitely.
Small amount of things like jumping off buildings.
Because it's so interesting that you say that because our brain is here for the logic, for everyday survival, things like keeping us alive. Like we know not to walk out in the street but when cars are coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our brain is here for.
Absolutely.
But our brain is not always right. When it comes to
People, I think.
people, life choices, following your passion, you logic will tell you I should probably keep this job even though I hate
Hate it
it.
there, yeah.
Even though I hate it there, I'm going to stay there. But your passion and following your gut may lead you to your art,
Mm-hmm.
starting that business, chasing whatever dream it is that you have. But I think there is a fine balance between the two, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Something that I did find interesting when we were doing our research and just learning about gut instincts, and I didn't even know this. Your gut instincts or your gut feelings can only happen in the present moment. If
Okay.
you can't have a gut feeling about something that has not happened yet, or something that happened in the, well, I guess you can ask happen something in the past, but something that has not happened yet.
I get that.
Because then you're projecting, you're trying to predict the future. And I think
And that's more logic. That's more logic decision
that's
making.
more fear, not even logic. That could be fear.
Well, when I say logic, I really mean that's more like the brain making decisions, projecting things.
It's
Because
the
only the
brain.
brain can try to predict like into the future.
Exactly. It's definitely the brain projecting, trying to come up with scenarios that haven't
Mm-hmm.
even happened yet. And thinking back as a child, I used to do that a whole lot. I probably still do it some today, but I remember tons of times being in the shower as a high school girl thinking about, because I think I talked about this previously, but I had like a little friend group and one of the friends was like kind of bullying us, but I will always try to predict what she was going to say, and then I would kind of make up a scenario and have a response to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So those aren't gut feelings. I mean, I probably did have some gut feelings somewhere when interacting with her.
That told you like I don't really like her like that.
Exactly. But that again, that's one of the things where I was just saying I went against my gut feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so back to what I was saying, your intuition can only happen in the present moment. It's a reaction to something. They are not feelings. It's reactions, responses to things that are happening in the present moment. And I think there's a lot of confusion with that because even I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe. I know I'm a person who wants to improve my real lifetime decisions. Like
Yes.
quick in the now decisions by trusting my gut. I know that, when there's very big decisions, you need some time to think about them, but we can't harbor on things too long because
Facts.
like we saying, that initial gut feeling starts to fade.
Mm-hmm.
The more you start to use logic and start predicting, this could happen, that could go wrong, this could go right. When all those things take place, less and less of that gut feeling is there because we know what
Agreed.
we initially want to do in our gut. Our soul kind of intertwined. They know immediately when they hear news or when something happens what to do.
Right.
But logically, I think our brain sometimes slows us down to think about it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do want to improve on my quick decision making in life.
Yeah. You
Because,
want to make decisions quicker?
yes, with more efficiency based on my gut feeling. I think a lot of times in my own life personally, and there might be a lot of people out there like me, I've overthought things
Definitely.
so long. Even if I eventually go with my gut feeling, it's probably a lot of times it's like 2 weeks too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A week late. It's I've seen just personally, I've seen trends start online like for gut feeling things that I said that I should do.
Right.
Right. Before it happened though. And you don't get it because you didn't stick your neck out there with the gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Use a little logic and say, "Well, I'll start to see about playing around with this." And in about 2-3 weeks, I'll do something right. 2-3 weeks, I'll start posting this content or that content or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
might be. And 3 weeks down the road, now that content is kind of like not fading out, but it's kind of like a normalized thing now.
Right. Everyone's doing
Yeah,
it.
everyone's kind of doing it kind of thing. I think you align with your inner self when you trust that gut feeling in the moment. And you can quickly make these decisions. Or I'm gonna go do this today. I'm creating this today, and you go do it. You don't think about all of the outcomes. You just go along with the process and basically have as much fun as you can with it.
I agree with that 100%. I feel that the longer you wait to make a decision, the higher chance you have of not going with your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Because during that time, you've had so much time to rationalize and make sense and logic, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all, because a lot of life decisions do require logic.
Yeah,
A
yeah, for
lot,
sure.
but I personally want to start making more decisions that are in alignment with my intuition and my gut feelings. I personally have spent a lot of my years, like most of my life, overthinking, making up scenarios. Whether it comes to interactions with people or following my dreams from a creative standpoint, I spend a lot of my time overthinking and not following my gut. And I've noticed, obviously, the older I've gotten, the more I had listened to my intuition, and it has never steered me wrong.
No, a lot of the, I think most of the good things in our life come from non-logic decisions. They are just, they kind of just happen at the spur of the moment. We don't predict them. I think the most money we've ever seen on checks were not like this logical thought out plan. We buy this, we get this, we do
Mm-hmm.
woo, woo. The biggest checks we never seen. They came from like places we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like that we didn't even know that they would ever come from. They just kind of fall into your lap almost to an extent.
Yeah.
Um, I think the mind can't predict how humans will interact, and that's the biggest problem with logic. Just trusting logic. Like I do music, so often you have to just go with a gut feeling. When an artist comes out and they have this new sound, this new thing, it ain't like they logically added music notes, and they just went off a gut feeling. Like, I think this would be fly in the world,
Yeah.
and you put that out there. You know what I'm saying? And that is it. You don't add any logic into it. You can't predict. With so many people talented, like I'm sticking to the music thing, nobody could have predicted. One guy I always like to use as an example is Young Thug. Young Thug's first, like, I guess, hello to the world was the song "I'm a Stoner" from Vine.
Right.
Nobody, nobody in their right mind could have predicted that when we were hearing that song on Vine, he was gonna be like this artist doing arenas and coming to the Young Thug that we know now with this label YSL, and nobody could have predicted that. You could have only, he was the only person that could have maybe said it, and it was all on gut feeling at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever signed him had to go with their gut feeling that he was gonna blow up to be
Yes.
this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Birdman found Wayne, he couldn't have had a logic. Oh yeah, I'll sign a 16-year-old rapper, and logically, if I keep him signed for 15 years, he'll only get better, and then he'll be the best. That's not how that thing works. Like, it's a gut feeling that he says Wayne's gonna be the guy who says, "Feed me rappers or feed me beats." Like, you know what I mean? It's only a gut feeling that you can have. Jay Z, one of my favorite Jay Z lines is, "My uncle said I'll never sell a million records. I sold a million records like a million times." Like, who logically would fucking doubt Hove? But
Exactly.
at
He
that
wasn't
time,
Hove.
Hove's following his gut that he can do this. His uncle is looking at it logically, like, you a nigga from New York, Marcy, you from the projects. Are you trying to sell records like Madonna? I don't think that's your lane, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He using his logic, but again, following our gut feeling will take us places our mind just can't fabric together. Our mind can't put together the places that those decisions that you need to make on intuition can take you.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I believe that some of the best art, the best music, the best whatever, like just creations in general, will come from trusting your intuition,
Hmm.
following your gut instinct. I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
One thing I wanted to reiterate and kind of just tap back into just a little bit
Hmm.
is understanding the difference between your gut instinct and fear,
Hmm.
because our gut isn't here to keep us like comfortable or safe. Sometimes our gut feelings or our intuition, it'll have us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
It'll say things or react to things in a way that scares us. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to reiterate that even if your gut feeling is telling you something that goes against logic or that scares you, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay.
And I think our gut feeling a lot of times will surprise us, and we will try to suppress that feeling. I think I know, let me correct myself. I know I have seen situations or people, and it's like people I love, people I fuck with, do something, and my gut feeling was jealousy. And initially, like, damn,
Oh yeah.
like your gut, like damn, you,
It's your gut
yeah,
reaction.
my gut reaction was actually jealousy.
But the interesting thing about jealousy is
It ain't always the worst thing in the world.
it's not always the worst thing in the world, but also the person that you are jealous of or this thing that you are jealous of is something that you desire or want in your life, and
For
it kind
yourself.
of shows you like
Hmm.
it kind of really sometimes jealousy can show you what you really
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Like it show you a kick in the ass. Like you think like you want this such thing or you want this role until you see somebody in it and you like, nah, fuck that. I want that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? No. But yeah, your gut feeling sometimes will lead emotions out of you that you not necessarily ready for.
Mhm.
Right? You could in the early relationship with somebody and then like be kind of fucked up about it and you didn't even kind of know you felt this strongly about this
Yeah.
person until afterwards.
Exactly.
Our gut feeling again, like so much of us lies in that feeling that when it comes about, I think it rocks us with such surprise. And there are things inside of you, emotions inside of you, you don't know are coming out in certain situations.
Exactly. Agreed. Agreed. And just going back to what I said earlier, or what we said earlier, your gut feelings can only happen in the present moment. If you are thinking about a future event, or even it could be like your dreams, if you're thinking about that and you're getting scared or you're having these like fearful feelings, that is your brain. That is quote unquote logic.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, let me tell you something. Following our gut, trusting our intuition has gotten us to so many places that we couldn't have even fathom of.
Yeah, I think if I just had to purely think logical, I wouldn't be in this podcast right now. I wouldn't be nowhere near the life that I have now if I just had to think logical with everything. Some shit is a gut feeling. Some things you step out on and you don't know how they gonna play out. There were plenty of times, especially this time, like just keeping to my story or our story. Like I said, I just got done like working like a 9 to 5 or whatnot. Um,
About 6 months ago.
yeah, about 6 months ago. So
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
very
it's
short. It's a very
very,
short
yeah,
time period.
yeah.
But if I had went with a logic route, it would have been, let's not quit working altogether. Let's go get a part-time job first, and then, as we grow this right here, we'll wind down from the part-time job, do less hours and less hours until we're completely done, right? Until we're at a comfortable state. And
Right.
that word comfort and logic, it
They
always
go
kind of
hand in
hand to
hand.
hand, but no, gut feeling said drop it now and go all the way in with this, and that was the right move.
Absolutely.
And it worked out. The same numbers that I was logically trying to map around doing blew past them following the gut feeling.
100%.
So trust in self. Self ain't gonna steer you wrong. Even if it don't go right, you get an experience out of it all. Trust in self.
Yeah, definitely.
And to piggyback off of your mention of fear, a lot of times our gut feeling is trying to make things better. Our gut feeling to me has this comforting feeling that is closer to gratitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very grateful and pleasing mindset to be in when you trust your gut. Versus when we go with our logic is where our imagination lies. And our imagination fucks with us and creates fear. Like
Facts.
it's the imagination that does it. I used to have trouble sleeping. I used to imagine like somebody breaking into my house, killing me or some shit like that. That's the
Yeah.
imagination. My gut feeling is that I'll wake up in the morning with my windows intact and all my organs still inside me. My gut feeling tells me I will be fucking okay, right? But it's that it goddamn imagination, the thinker up top who creates all these horrible scenarios. Your gut feeling usually only wants to make you better. Even if your gut feeling says walk away from a person, even
Yeah.
if it makes you sad, it's still trying to make you better. It's trying to comfort you, even if it has to take the route of like you getting sad or you getting angry or you stepping away from a person, place, or thing. Your gut feeling usually is trying to align you with wellness versus our imagination, which is helpful to have when we are in a creative, good mood. Is a very helpful thing. But when we are in a bad mood, we all know our imagination works 24/7.
Yeah.
So it depends on our mood. We put our imagination in what it
Yeah.
gives us.
Whether it's gonna work for you or against you.
Yes, the imagination will create some scary ass things. You know what I mean? I've seen my imagination create some pretty weird fucking things that I just want to trap
Same.
in my mind that I can't
Like
mention on the
I'm
podcast or
telling you to nobody.
oh God, dog. Some of the it's gorgeous. Some of the things your imagination will bring forth. You get mad and like you imagine putting a knife through somebody's eyeball and shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, shit happens. You imagine. Yeah, you can imagine a lot of things. I'm just gonna leave it at
You
that.
literally can imagine anything.
That's
That's
what
why
I
it's
mean
called
by especially when you
imagination.
get angry. Like you, shit. Whole lot of things go through an angry black man's mind. I'm just gonna let you guys know that.
Yeah. But on a better note, more, more positive note,
A
always trust
lot.
your gut. Your gut only wants to see you win. Your gut only literally
Facts.
wants to see you win. As we mentioned in the beginning, I am building this or strengthening the connection to my um, mind and gut and just trusting my gut in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know what are some ways that you are actively or plan to strengthen your relationship with your intuition or things in the past that you've done to you know.
For me, just really conditioning myself to think like I'm that nigga, like I'm him.
Yeah.
Like I conditioning myself to really think like I am him. And he, whatever decision he makes, he will come out on top of it. Even if he
Facts.
makes the wrong decision, he gonna find a way to flip it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care what it is. When I think like I'm him, I find a way to flip all decisions to work in my favor.
Yeah.
Right? Dudes scheme, people scheme on you all the time. I feel like God is always scheming in my favor.
Mhm.
So no matter what it is, it's gonna be all right. So make that decision. You know what I mean? Make decisions like you that bitch. Make decisions like you him. Like
Right.
don't make them. I think logic is the one that tries to pull us back. Our gut know that we really him. We him neutron. Like our gut knows to like make the decisions. So shit, no matter what it is, like it's gonna fall back good on you. Trust
Facts.
trust in yourself. Bitch, you got this.
You got this.
So that's one way I'm practicing it. What is a way that you are practicing trusting your gut?
One way for me is because y'all know that social media is ultimately a part of our job, a large part of our job,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with that, I've had this uphill battle of being a creator on these apps and a consumer.
Yeah.
And so I'm always actively trying to find the balance. But with that, on the consumer side, there's so much information on social media. So many people voicing their opinion and it can be really noisy. So for me, a way that I'm actively trusting my intuition is being mindful of the time I spend on the internet, the people that I follow, and spending less time in general. That way I can
Mm-hmm.
quiet the thoughts and opinions of everybody else and I can kind of hone in more on my thoughts and how I truly feel. Because I've said this in the past on another episode. For a long time, I didn't really know who I was. I would kind of morph into who I needed to be around certain people. My opinions on things would change. So then it was like, I don't really know what my opinion is. And so that's not necessarily something that I struggle with now, but I want to make sure that I don't. I want to make sure that I stay true to who I am, who, you know, what's truly rooted in me. sometimes when people ask you your opinion on something or how you feel about something, it can kind of be a mixture of all of these opinions that you've seen online. But how many times
Mm-hmm.
have you really sat back and thought about how you truly feel about something? Like I said, it's easy and it's accessible to hear and see what everybody feels and thinks. It can kind of get noisy,
Mm-hmm.
confusing. You can't even hear your own thoughts. You can't even really trust your own gut. So definitely taking time away from not only social media but people, other people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have to have that quiet time to myself so I can hear my thoughts and really sit back and think about how I feel and listen to my gut, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that's a huge way that have been and will continue to practice trusting my instinct, because with that you kind of get to know yourself even more. And I think you can't trust your instinct or follow your gut if you don't truly know yourself.
Yeah, facts. That has to take place first. You hit that on the head. Good shit, Riri.
Thank you.
I think the second tip I might have for somebody is time. Don't take a lot of time thinking about it. Just don't.
Agreed.
That's as simple as it. Don't take a lot of time. If it feels right, do that shit. You know what I mean?
100%.
No matter what happens, but again, if you're moving in the right energy, which following your gut feeling you usually is,
Yeah, you usually are.
it's gonna end up well for you. So even if your gut feeling is to punch old boy in the face, you never know who that inspires.
Violence is not the answer.
Violence has been the answer a lot of times in America. It's been a lot. It's been the answer a lot of times.
I'm gonna leave that at that.
Yeah, just follow that gut feeling, no matter what it is. You'll be all right.
Another thing that I can think of at the moment, because I had another one, but I can't remember what it was, but
Mm-hmm.
just making sure that I am aligning myself with daily practices that are going to serve my higher self, such as some kind of movement daily, some kind of meditation practice or breathing exercises daily. Because I find that when I meditate, ultimately you that's the time for you to hear your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I say this all the time. I know when we think about meditation, we think there's supposed to be no noise up there. But if you think about it, how often do we sit down and actually pay attention to our thoughts? I think most of us actively seek the opposite. We do daily, like I guess work, whatever the case may be, whatever you do in your day-to-day life to hide or run from your thoughts and your emotions. You know, we I know people who say I have to keep busy. I can't sit still, because then what happens when you sit still?
Don't think.
You're gonna hear your thoughts. And in order for you to follow your gut, you have to hear those thoughts. You have to filter through those thoughts. But once you've gone through those thoughts and you've heard all those thoughts through the practice of meditation, you then get to the sweet spot or bliss, where you just feel all these feelings of gratitude, and you kind of connect and align with not only the universe but also your higher self, who you truly are. Because ultimately when you connect with the universe and God, you're connecting with yourself as well, because you are that spirit that created all of this.
Agreed. Agreed. And my final tip, if you don't have any more tips for 'em,
I was gonna say journaling.
journal. Make sure y'all right.
Like you said, that's a great way to record
Yeah.
how you actually feel about something. And like you said before, sometimes with time, our emotions or our gut feelings, they kind of fade. We kind of don't really
Mm-hmm.
remember. So just writing down how you feel about a certain thing, it could really be nothing at all. But long as you write that thing down, you'll grow and evolve that relationship with yourself, because ultimately that's the point.
Yeah, keep a history of you. We got American history, we got world history, African American history, Hispanic history. We got all these histories. Who's keeping up with your history? You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Keep up with your history of self and you'll better understand it. They say if you know the past, you'll know where you're going. You know what I mean? So definitely keep up with that. My last tip on trusting the gut is to be prepared. Have things prepared. Um, I think a lot of times when we back out of our gut feeling and we go into our logic is because we don't have something prepared for it. Like the perfect example is if there's a guy, well, we get our t-shirts done, like for the Healthy Hoe merch. If they have a sale on blank tees, right, that we need to put our designs on, if we hear it and it's an amazing sale, but it's 24 hours or just this hour, our gut feeling might say buy it, but we might back out of it if we don't have any designs prepared. You say, well, I ain't got
Mm,
shit prepared for. I'm just gonna have shirts sitting around.
right.
But if you got things prepared, if we had designs prepared, it's a no brainer. We off
Exactly.
top buy them, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and on second thought, let's go get that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So if you have things prepared, it's easier for you to make the gut feeling because you know what you're falling back on.
Exactly. And with it, I feel like when we can stop running away from ourselves, we can then have time to prepare, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Stop running away from who you are. You can get shit done
Exactly.
because you need. I'm finna say some shit that sound weird or it sound dumb when I say it, but you need you to get things done.
Exactly.
But what I mean by that is like you need your truest self to get shit done. You can't
Facts.
create that brand. You can't create that business. You can't up those skills without being yourself. So
Exactly.
you need you to get shit done. And if you don't got you, then shit, we ain't got nothing to start with. You
Nothing
are
at
your
all.
own. You are the blueprint in the beginning. If we don't
Facts.
have the blueprint for the building, we ain't building shit, dog.
We ain't building nothing. So we got to stop resisting our truest selves.
True. And with that being said,
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We love you, sending you so much peace, so much abundance, and everything you need in this moment. Bye. Mwah.
peace.